It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that one and done train. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos a One and Done, your fast break of college basketball información. If you don't know, now you know. I'm the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train, and my name is Jay Heinrich at Dr. William Cannon on X, sharing your viewing device with me on this fine episode of One and Done. This Sunday news and notes edition is the man around here known as El Capitan himself. He's the captain of the One and Done ship. He does the ship, I do the train. There's a whole lot of transportation going on here, but that's okay. He's at MC Holland 34 on X, the OG Money Mike, Mr. Mike Holland. And Mike, let's hop right into the week that was in college basketball, into our new opening segment called, it's the opening possession, which makes a lot of sense, right, Mike? So what's on your mind to start off the show?
Yeah, what's on my mind is Arizona. Crazy, man. Greatest start ever. I mean, they made history with the 21-point beatdown of Alabama on Saturday. They became the first team to ever beat 5 ranked opponents within the first 9 games of the season. They just continue to be impressive because they can play a bunch of different styles. They have such versatile lineups they can go to. They basically got nothing from Koa Pete in the first half and really the game. And yet Krivas, Braden Berries, Awaka, even Jaden Bradley continue to play like one of the top 3 or 4 point guards in the country on both ends of the floor. Like, just such a dynamic team, Jay. They're inside the top 10 in both offensive and defensive efficiency. So, yeah, Arizona's definitely on my mind. I know we have Michigan at number 1 in our power rankings based off what they did in the Players Era tournament. But, man, Arizona, when we do our power rankings, making a strong case there. The Big East is a mess, Jay. The Big East is a mess, man. Outside of UConn and St. John's, and even St. John's has lost 3 games already, this conference is on the struggle bus. The other 8 teams all outside the Ken Palm top 30. We thought Creighton would kind of be that 3rd team. We had them in our high tier, but they're 5-5, and they look pretty dreadful. I just don't see how they're going to be anything more than a 3-bid league, and it's like, who's going to get the 3rd bid? Villanova, Butler, Seton Hall are in the early pole position after the non-con. Butler got the nice win over Providence yesterday in double overtime. Michael Ajayi has definitely been one of the best transfers in the country. So something to watch for is the first couple of weeks of Big East play to see who can kind of claim that 3rd spot. And then I wanted to jump into the American, man. The AAC, it's wide open. We don't consider them a mid-major because they're typically a 2-bid league, save for like what we saw last year, which they were a 1-bid league. And it's actually kind of trending that way again. I mean, Memphis is not very good this year. Tulsa being the biggest surprise at 10-1, their only loss was by 1 point. So they could be 11-0. They have a dangerous offense. They're 4th in 3-point shooting, but they don't really play any defense. You got South Florida playing a really tough schedule. They have some upside, so interesting to see what they're going to be able to do. And then you have Wichita, UAB, Darren's North Texas, Florida Atlantic, all going to be really competitive. That's a league that's going to be one to watch because I think we're headed toward another 1 bid, unless there's a bid stealer and somebody catches fire, runs through the table in the AAC. But it's looking like a 1 bid league here, Jay.
North Texas talk on a news and note show. Darren sure is happy, and you can see Darren in the live chat along with our guy Cam, the godfather of Iowa bowling, CT Huggin, however you want to call his name, he'll answer to it. What's up, Cam? Good to see you and Darren in the live chat. Join the guys in the chat as this opening possession continues. Nebraska, Mike, officially legit. I think we can put the stamp on them, which usually means they'll lose 3 out of their next 4. But at least right now, they look pretty legit. Shout out to Coach Fred Hoiberg over there, sitting at 11-0 overall, 2-0 in Big Ten play. That win at Illinois, securing the program's best start ever, like in the history, like forever. Yes, forever, man. Lawrence hitting that game-winning 3 from the right wing with like 0.2 seconds left, and just that's the kind of silence that you want to hear when you're on the road. Like that silence is deafening. That building was just absolutely a ghost town, and Lawrence was the reason at the end. Admittedly, around here, we weren't as much of a believer in them in the non-con. We wanted to see them play a few tougher games, and then they started stringing a couple together, and then, oh, okay, like that's not a bad win at all there. And then all of a sudden, you get the win on the road, and It will be reflected in our power rankings later in the show. I'll just say that we got to mention the 30-point win over Wisconsin. Obviously, Rank Mass and Price Sanford have been amazing for Nebraska, Mike. And then Big Blue Nation, pulse check right here, my friend. How you feeling? You feeling a little bit better? Are we off the
positivity
a little bit on this one? Okay, I'm going to bring up some earmuffs. Lost to Louisville, Michigan State, North Carolina, Gonzaga, right? Okay. But that win over Indiana on Saturday night, 72-60, that makes us feel a little bit better. At least, I'm saying the royal us, as in if you were a part of Big Blue Nation, you should feel a little bit better. Jalen Lowe, really, really solid off of the bench, 14 points, dominated down the stretch. It was the type of play that Kentucky needed a guy to step up, and Lowe was fit for the task. Just such a big difference as the true point guard. Like, just to and we questioned Kentucky last year point guard. We were trying to figure out, is Lowe going to be able to carry the load this year? He makes such a big difference for them. We've been waiting around for Mo Diabate to show back up too, and he finally did. 5-game absence, big for them. We talked about how much of a difference maker that he can be, and he finished with 14 points, 12 rebounds, and five steals, Mike. Once these guys get comfortable and Jaden Quaidance is back, they're going to look different. Take a breath, Big Blue Nation. Everything is going to be okay. You know what else is okay? Hopping in the live chat with our guy, Nate C. Hustle, who's starting pushing buttons tonight, and he's been in and out. He's on the East Coast, still hanging out with us, dropping the fire emojis in the live chat. Snake's Eyes hopping in there as well, joining the crew. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. At the time that we're recording this thing, 1,716 subs. Let's get to 1,720 on this News and Notes show. And you know what a good time to hit that button is? It's right before everybody's favorite college basketball segment on YouTube. That's right, ladies and gents. It's time for the Mid-Major Minute.
All right, we're back with another edition of the Mid-Major Minute. Got 3 conferences I want to dive into. We'll start with the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, known as the MAAC. The Siena Saints, 9-2, 2-0 in conference play, and we love the Jerry McNamara squad coming into the year. Now, they have played one of the 5 easiest schedules in the country so far, but they do have Indiana and Vermont coming up to kind of boost that profile. So what we really like is the 2 conference wins that they picked up this week over Niagara and Canisius. Sophomore guard Gavin Doty, kind of a guard wing that takes a lot of shots for them. He's taking a nice step forward, leads the team in scoring, and the Saints are one of the 5 teams in the MAC, starting out 2-0 in the conference. So going to be plenty competitive up at the top. Want to slide over to the Ivy League, and one of the teams that we had during our off-season top 5 mid-majors coming into the season. That's the Yale Bulldogs. They're 11-1, looking like James Jones' team is going to be really lighting it up from 3 this year. They're second in the country. We know they have star forward Nick Townsend averaging 17 points, 7.5 boards, nearly 5 assists, and they got a big test. I'm really interested to see what they do if they're able to be competitive into the second half against an Alabama team that just got beaten down by Arizona's, but that doesn't happen for a couple of weeks here. And then they start conference play. They're going to be the overwhelming favorites in the Ivy, and they have the size and shooting to do some damage if they make it to the NCAA tournament once again. And the last one that I wanted to talk about is the Patriot League. American University, the Eagles, 7-4. Haven't talked much Patriot League this year, but they are the defending co-regular season champs, and they were the Patriot Conference tournament champs from last year, and they are off to a decent start. They lost Matt Rogers, who's one of the best players in program history, to graduation. Thought they would maybe take a step back, but this freshman week, Madden Collins has been a big surprise. But really, it's been the third-year guard, Greg Jones, who's really become a focal point of the offense. So that will wrap up this week's mid-major edition.
Snake's Eyes knew we blow the whole graphics budget on the mid-major
100%.
minute, and Mike, I could tell right there you didn't want to get out of it, and I don't blame you, man. Who wouldn't want to have the mid-major minute be, the mid-major 20 minutes. No, that's why it's called the mid-major minute. Mike always loves to hit the mid. We love the mid-majors around here, especially in our Fan Tracks Best Ball League that we did this season, one and done. Shout out to everybody that was a part of that. Shout out to everybody that's pushed that button already tonight. Hit the like and subscribe if you have not already. Why don't we just get right to the power rankings here, Mike? I think it's time. I mean, we've got on the bottom of the power rankings, this is where you see the most movement, right? And that's a little bit of a teaser in terms of the lack thereof as we move closer along, or farther along, I should say, on our countdown to number 1. But let's start right now with the teams that are ranked 25 through 21. Let's start with USC at 25, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, and Texas Tech rounding out the first 5 entries here. A lot of changes to this tier over the last couple of weeks. Like I was saying, USC escaped a late rally by Washington State on Sunday tonight as we film. And they're off to their best start in 3 years. Florida continues to drop games to big-time competition, but are just they feel too good to drop out. Like, I get it. They've lost, but all of these losses, these aren't to scrubs, man. So Florida hanging on at 23, a few spots down, Mike, in our first entry here.
Yeah, and then we can't, Georgia newcomer, man, Mike White. We can't forget about the job that he's done so far. They're playing at the 5th fastest tempo. Blue Cane has been balling. They got a nice win over Cincinnati this weekend. But like a lot of teams that kind of enter into this range, right, we haven't seen them tested by anybody in the top 75 of Ken Palm. So another buyer beware. We'll see if Georgia can kind of keep it rolling as we get to the new year and as we get into conference play, because that's going to be a make or break for them.
That's got to be Kane. I'm going to do it every time. Very good. That is 25 through 21. Let's get right to 20 through 16. Virginia, Tennessee, Illinois, Alabama, and Arkansas. See, I'm going from the bottom up, despite, what the graphic is. And speaking of up, Arkansas firing their way up these rankings. Virginia continues to slowly creep up our rankings. A lot of offensive firepower, which, this ain't your granddaddy's Virginia Cavaliers team that wanted to beat you, 60 to 56. Okay, they're scoring the basketball and they're creeping up slowly up our power rankings. Tennessee didn't have a game this week, but, fell a couple of spots because of what teams around them did. And they do have a huge matchup against Louisville on Tuesday, Mike.
Yeah, that's going to be an awesome game. Can't wait to see that one. Tough loss for Illinois to Nebraska, which we talked about, but they obviously have the roster to be elite if they can kind of just figure out how to get some stops. And then Alabama falling back here. They got hammered by Arizona. And then, Arkansas, that just an impressive win over Texas Tech, man. We love Arkansas and Alabama, like the ceilings on these teams. It just feels like, they're playing really, really tough competition. And I can't wait to see what these teams look like, in February and March.
Well, that's what keeps them around and interesting. Like Darren's talking about we can't let go of our SEC love. These teams are playing quality competition, and they're going to be playing it for the rest of the season. Like all the quad 1 games that are going to line up back to back to back for some of these teams. Like we're forecasting some in the future too, just based off of what we think is coming for these teams. So I get it, Darren, and I know you're only a little bit joking there, tongue in cheek. But it makes a lot of sense, right? Like these teams are going to have like the iron sharpens iron stuff.
Yeah.
And we're going to see it as the season goes.
And you're probably not going to see very many SEC teams going for the rest of the list. So we'll get those out of the way quickly.
No, but around these parts, they're going to be hanging around in, like these 4 and 5 seed lines all season long. And that's where the meat and potatoes of that conference is going to be. Yeah, exactly. So this is, again, like, worthy of conversation for
100%.
Sure. Hey, let's move on now to the old next slide, 15 through 11 in our power rankings. Make sure you hop in the live chat like Darren's doing, like Snake's Eyes, like our guy Cam did, Napesy Hustle. Make sure you hop in with the guys. Hit the subscribe button, guys and gals. We want everybody to hang out here on One and Done. We're all hoop heads, right? Like, so hop in there. As we're moving along now, a big jump you can see there for Nebraska, Kansas. Once again, roller coaster of love. up and down. Big in overtime at NC State on Saturday. But then, Peterson out again with hamstring tightness, which I'm going to lean again on my conspiracy theory that he's not ever going to play for them again just because he's out. I mean, I'm going to get back on that bike and ride. So we're going to have to follow that one closely. Gonzaga continues to look very, very impressive. Maybe we're too low on them, Mike. I don't know. But obviously a team that can shoot up the rankings here as some people in front of them stumble a little bit.
Yeah, and man, you look at KenPom. KenPom actually loves them. They're number 2 on KenPom. So down here at 13, definitely want to see a little bit more out of them, but just really fascinated the teams in front of them, man. Like Vanderbilt and Nebraska. They're gonna be 13-0 going into a home game against Michigan State. They got 2 bye games coming up, so that is going to be an awesome game. Can't wait for that one. North Carolina and Vanderbilt just kind of continue to handle their business. So yeah, I mean, these teams, not as much movement except for the big jump by Nebraska, which has been fully warranted here.
Is that the Mike Holland jinx right there? You're already giving them 13-0 going into Michigan State. And if we see the epitome of brutality come across there, losing a bye game for Nebraska, we're gonna know that it was Mike's fault. We can put it all on Mike's lap for sure. And yeah, man, I think the Zags, again, like they're playing like a top 10 team. And there's just these teams that are going to be in the top 10, which we can get to now. Those next 5 here, no change atop our power rankings in the top 10. I guess I just spoiled it, But hey, if you've been watching this long, hang around.
Give us the doomsday spoiler too, Jay, if you want to spoil on top
10. I think Purdue, like we were harsh on them. That loss that they had was not pretty at all. The worst loss at home by a number 1 team in history, I believe.
Yep.
But they bounced back nicely. And Michigan State and BYU schedules have them cruising into the new year. I'm not going to just predict that they're going to go undefeated like Mike. Everybody's going to win all their games. But, again, forecasting out a little bit, Michigan State and BYU are going to have they might have that, that non-crooked number in their loss column heading into 2026.
Yeah, I mean, it's just when we get to like this time of year, these next couple of weeks, there's just not as many big time matchups. UConn got a bit of a scare from Texas, but they've looked great, and we talked about just how down the Big East looks, and they got Butler and DePaul this week, and I just don't really see them getting challenged by anybody outside of St. John's, and I can't wait for this Louisville-Tennessee matchup on Tuesday. There's definitely going to be some movement on that one, and yes, I am calling my shot that Nebraska is probably going to enter the top 10 on our next show because I number 336 on KenPom, North Dakota, and number 334 New Hampshire. If they don't win both of those games, that they will not be seeing our top 25 for a little while, Jay.
Hey, I'm just saying, man, like you're putting it out there.
It could happen.
Yeah. Like crazier things can happen. I mean,
100%.
Go up the street here in Austin and let's watch that basketball team screw something up. They played in front of like 200 people the other day. It was crazy.
Yeah.
They did win. At least they won. But, Darren, we gave up halfway through the rankings, not changing anything. How dare you, sir? How dare you?
That's awesome.
I mean, maybe. Top 5, Michigan, Arizona, Duke, Iowa, Houston. I went in the right order this time, top to bottom. There you go. Why not? Change it up for the last slide, get a little crazy. Everyone won. Easy enough. Iowa State, Duke, Arizona, and Michigan, probably the 1 seeds if it all started today.
Yep.
It's not like Houston can't beat any of those teams and twice on Sunday on any given. They're still Houston. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, Michigan just feels like it's theirs until it's not.
Right.
Like, who's going to knock them off?
Who doesn't want to see Arizona, Michigan play tomorrow? Like, who doesn't want to see something like that, man? Like, that was sweet of a matchup with that because it's looking like those are the top 2 teams, right, Jay? But then it's like, man, it's not counting out Boozer, but also Burger's done with Iowa State. You just mentioned Houston. There's a reason we got lazy is because basically all 10 of these teams won out in our top 10. So this is kind of what happens during this time of the year. I mean, and when you look at it, we've got 5 combined losses with these 10 teams. So if my math be math, then maybe 6. I might be off by 1. But I mean, there's just not many losses in this top 10 here, man. So just an awesome matchup between Arkansas and Houston coming up this Saturday. Cannot wait for that one. That's at the Prudential Center in New Jersey. Duke's doing the same thing. They got a date with Texas Tech at Madison Square Garden on Saturday night. Can't wait for both of those matchups. Iowa State's cruising into the new year with their schedule. I mean, it feels kind of top heavy. Like there is that threshold, Jay, with the top 10. And then when you get to it, there's still a little bit of doubt with Nebraska. Vanderbilt's like, man, the schedule hasn't really been there. Gonzaga, you could probably toss in, which is maybe a little bit too low. Kansas dealing with the, Peterson thing. North Carolina, maybe want to see them play. A few more tough teams. But yeah, it feels like there's 10 or 11 teams and then there's another tier. But it does feel like Arizona, Michigan. That would be an awesome matchup.
No bigger wild card in the country than Kansas. And it's all on 100%. The back of Darren Peterson's leg. Like, yeah. I mean, honestly, like that biggest difference from ceiling to floor on one player's hamstring.
Yeah, it's wild.
And again, like think if he, let's say he comes back again in January and he tweaks it again.
Yeah, he's a number one pick. So.
Number 2 at worst, right? Like he's a top
worse than number 2, yeah. At worst.
So I mean, is that something that you're gonna? And that's something obviously that we're gonna monitor as the season goes on. Snake's Eyes predicting Indiana's gonna knock off Michigan. Why not?
Okay. We'll see.
I mean,
we'll see if DeVries and Alexis and those guys can hang with Lindeborg and Mara and Morris Johnson.
Yuck. Who wants to? Who's raising their hand to do that? Literally nobody.
Yeah, literally nobody except for maybe Arizona because they have Krivas, Awaka, Koa Pete.
Like, that's it.
In Florida, but they don't have any guards that can do anything. So.
No love letters for Arizona. Those days are gone. And I know you made the addition by subtraction joke earlier, and we were all sort of thinking it maybe a little bit. Caleb Love not being around anymore, and then you see just peak. It's early, man. Like let's give it a little bit of time here. Let's get through conference play. Oh man, and I'll probably, you guys know that I can't quit Arizona no matter what. It's just they're just gonna. Oh god, I can already see my bracket.
Because if you don't pick them, they're winning it all.
They'll win the entire thing for sure. Yeah, that sounds about right. Hey, good stuff, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this News and Notes edition of One and Done. Shout out to Napesy Hustle for hopping in earlier. Shout out to, I think, Fantasy Nav, our guy at Fantasy Nav. Eric the Blue tagged in, is pushing buttons now. So shout out to everybody for doing their part in the One and Done universe. And that includes all of you that are watching right now that have pushed that subscribe button already. Tell the hoopheads in your life about us. We got Mountain West games that we're simulcasting here on the channel. We got live reactions. Right as some of these games are ending, we're coming right to you for some reactions on those. We got DFS content. If you don't know, that guy Mike is chasing commas over there on DK. We're doing big things over there as well. We're seeing the one and done avatars at the top of some of these leaderboards. It's nice to see, and we hope that you hop along this train that we're riding all the way through the end of college basketball season and beyond. We're talking basketball year-round here on the channel, and we hope that you join us now. Thanks for hanging out with us. No Rodney Terry news tonight, Darren. I took the bait and I brought it up. Thanks for so much for dropping it in the live chat, the liveliest live chat in all of college hoops. Thanks to that guy sharing the viewing device screen with me. Around here, he's El Capitan himself. At MC Holland 34 on X, the OG Money Mike, Mr. Mike Holland. Shout out to everybody. Take care of yourself. Tell somebody that you love them. Push the button, turn on notification bells, because you never know when One and Done will be back around the corner. Until next time, it'll be Wednesday. We'll see you then. My name is JAYHEINRICH. Come again. Peace.